Hello folks, Junkie Rock 13 here. Everything vaping related, Junkie Rock 13. My real name is Ross Sanders, and I'm here today bringing you a little how-to video. Now I've had a few people contact me and ask me how I twist my Kanthal. Now the reason why people use twisted Kanthal wire. Now 32 gauge is a pretty average Kanthal, and that's what a lot of people use as beginners for their Genesis or rebuildable atomizers. It's a nice solid gauge wire, but a lot of people like experimenting and they want to use a thicker gauge wire, like a 28 or 30, even 31. But using just a 32 gauge wire, you can use it, twist it up together, and it will allow you to get a lower resistance on your atomizer Genesis devices, and it gives you the option to just experiment what that world is without even purchasing the 28 gauge or the 30 gauge. Now, the first time I twisted wire, I actually took the wire and twisted it by hand, and it did not come out very well. Then I thought about it, and I came up with a nice method, and it worked really well. Then I seen a video from a guy, the Almighty God, his name is, on the forums, Dwayne Green. He made a video on using a drill. Now I didn't use a drill before that. I used a different piece of machinery, and it worked fine, but it did not come out as good as using a drill. I don't even know why I didn't use a drill. It didn't make any sense. But after I seen his video, he used a Allen wrench or an Allen key in a wrench, or in a drill, and hooked the wire to that and ran the drill on there, and it worked fine. The problem that I had with the Allen key is the Allen key is like an L, and doing it by yourself, the wire slipped off, especially when you're spinning it, it slides off the Allen key. I came up with using a paper clip. Now, let me just show you the piece of paper clip real quick. Here's the piece of paper clip that I use, or one of them. It's just a simple little broke up paper clip in a little U shape. Now one end goes in the drill, and connect the wire and hold it with a wrench and spin it. I'm going to show you that real quick, then we'll talk about it for just a quick second. There's really no review here. It's just a how-to video. A few people wanted to see it, and I decided to bring it to you. Let's take a look at it. Okay, so here we go. I know this is going to be very hard to see, but this is what I've come up with, and the best way that you're going to be able to see this. This is approximately 2 feet of 32 gauge A1 AWG Kanthal. Okay? Now what you're going to need to twist this up using my method. Now there are other methods, okay? The way I do it is with a simple paper clip, and what I'm gonna do is just actually bend that out. Okay, let me show you what exactly I did. Bend out the inner portion of the paper clip, and I'm gonna take a wire clipper and cut it right about there. This piece I won't need. Now the piece that I'm using is just basically, okay, it's gonna have a little hook in it, Okay, now what I'm going to use is, this is a skill saw. It's one of the battery operated ones. Okay, now I'm going to take this paper clip and put it in here as if it was a drill bit and just tighten it down. Okay, so now what you have is a drill with a piece of paper clip hanging out of it with this little hook area. I'm just going to lay this down right here. Now this piece of Kanthal, you can use bigger pieces. I suggest doing it in a little 2 feet sections, so you end up with a 1-foot long twisted Kanthal. So what I'm going to do is put the ends even to each other, and then all the way down here is where it's going to come back around. So what I'm going to take with this section, so I'm going to actually hook it into the paper clip. Okay, and now down here, the 2 freed ends right here, line them back up. Don't have to be perfect. Put them together with the wrench, put the other end into the paper clip. And we're gonna just turn the drill, not very fast, but just enough to get it starting. Okay, you'll notice that it's spinning nice and easy. Once you get it spinning, now you want to keep a nice tension in this. You don't want to be able to be loose, because then it'll knot up. And what I do is, once you get this, you can turn it up to full speed, as long as you're holding that nice tension. Now what I want to suggest is, I use the drill until it actually snaps. The Kanthal will snap right around either next to the paper clip. That's usually where it breaks, right there, and that gives me just a perfect twist in there. Ooh, ooh, I lost it with the wrench down here. Make sure you keep the right tension in there again. Okay, see, it did break right down. I know it's going to be hard to see. Let me try to get a close-up now. Okay, doggy. It did snap right by the paper clip. You're not going to be able to see it that good. Let me try to get close. My dog is grunting. My little pug. Okay, but here you have a nice twisted 32 gauge Kanthal wire. The reason why I suggest to twist it that much is it gives a perfect guitar string type feel, and I have twisted it only a little bit, and I tend to get better results twisting it this much. Alrighty, there's the close-up, folks. Well, let's get back out and just talk about this real quick. Okay, so there you go. It's not really hard to do. You know, a 2 feet piece of Kanthal will give you about a little less than 1 foot if you're measuring exactly. Because of the twist, it's gonna shorten up a little bit. I really do like using twisted 32 gauge Kanthal. Now, I did twist up some 30 gauge Kanthal, and it got my resistance down too low, not where I like it. This allows you to give more wraps. If you like a 1.5 wrap atomizer, and you usually get about 4 wraps out of 32 gauge, this will allow you to get 6 to 7 wraps, almost sometimes 8 wraps depending on the size of your wick. But it allows you to give more wraps, more heating surface on the wick, which in turn is better vapor, more flavor. It's just an option, folks. I'm not saying you must use it. I like the twisted Kanthal, but if you think you're gonna run twisted Kanthal at 3 wraps around a normal wick, some people do, but it does get your resistance down sub 0.1 ohms. So if you want a 0.8 or 0.7 ohm atomizer, you can do it. I don't suggest you vaping at that. I know a lot of people do. I have, but it's kind of dangerous with the batteries. I'm just going to leave it at that because I know there's a lot of people that enjoy that. I have, and I do occasionally, but I usually like my wraps around 1.3 to 1.5. I'm comfortable, good flavor, good vapor, and that usually gives me the twisted 32 gauge. I usually get about, 5 wraps, and I get right in my area. So 5 wraps with the 32 gauge twisted is what I like. Now, I haven't used this on silica. I have not. I'm sure you can. It just depends on what setup you're using, whether it's the Odysseus or whether it's a Phoenix Rebuildable Atomizer, depending on what you're using. Experiment, folks. Just be safe. That's how I do it. I hope that helped. Take care. Be kind to everybody, please, folks. And keep on vaping.